Hey, it's Pete from Peak Arm Wrestling, and today I'm going to be talking about arm wrestling, but more specifically, my arm wrestling venture. So, my real name is Ethan, and I'm 17 years old, supposed to be in the youth league, but there's not really much opportunity for that, so... The men's league, that's a little nerve-wracking. 210 pounds. Which I try my best to stay at because my body naturally wants to be about 220, so it's kind of hard to get up there, but there is no way I'm facing those men, not right now. I've got 3 years of experience, and I've been at 5 competitions, and all of them were just amazing. The people were amazing, the atmosphere is always so great, there's never any toxicity that I've seen, and, well, it's just welcoming. And so, I throw myself up there. I mean, I'm 17, I don't have to be in the men's league, but at this point, it's fun. There's nothing like it, truly. There's not a thing like it. You walk up there and it's like the sound is all around you, the waves and the movement and the feeling, and it's just bombardment of the senses. And then you get up there, you put your hand up there, and everything's going, the full pressure of it. And then he says go, and everything leaves you. You're like a weightless being. You're just a feather that whew, you either lose or you win. And in that, there is so much. There's so much. Each second, each month, or hour, each day, each week, each month you've put into this is what you're throwing on that table. You're putting not only just your strength, you're putting your pride on the line. You're putting every single second that you could have spent doing something else up here, and you are going to prove or be disproven. So, with that, it is very easy to think that you're just strong enough, and there are a lot of guys that are just naturally strong. I'd like to think that I'm one of them, but it is not something you can rest on at all, especially in a sport where everyone that's in there competitively also is naturally strong. I mean, you kind of must be to get the vigoration to want to, or you're just part of an arm wrestling family, which is great either way. But there's nothing natural about arm wrestling, and when you get in there new, you will feel that you want to do this, and that is not the thing to do, and it's hoops and leaps and bounds just to get your mind to figure out that, oh, I gotta pull my wrist like this, and I gotta pull my elbow and my shoulder at the same time. There's so much. It's a mini martial art, as people have said, and people don't think that. They think it's just some little game that, you know, kids and teenagers and maybe adults do if they're drunk, but no, it's much bigger than that. And I hope it gets much, much bigger than it is now, because I mean, it's something I'm throwing myself into, and it's something I just enjoy with unending pleasure. It is so weird how something like that can bring about joy. But anyways, I'm in it. Frankly, it is pretty tough walking up there with, you know, the whole weight of the world on your shoulders and everything like that, but let me digress. How I got into arm wrestling is kind of weird. Probably how everyone else got into it. Not the same, but weirdness. And it was, my father was looking at the digital version of a newspaper, and he saw that there was an arm wrestling tournament. And obviously we didn't know what that was, because especially back in 2018, it was a little weird. Nobody really knew about it. And I'm glad that it's on the rise right now. There are hundreds of thousands of people looking at arm wrestling, and wow. It's a growing sport, and I'd like to think that I'm growing with it. And it's the most interesting sport in my point of view. Obviously, it's the sport I'm in, so it has to be that for me. And the reason is because there's no ties, there's no draws, it's just win, lose, or break. And that's quite that's quite the sport. It's pure. It's nothing but one man's entire lifetime in whatever he's put in that couple of seconds, just, and it's done. And it's all serious, and it's all weird, and it's fun, and it's amazing, and I don't see many toxic people in the arm wrestling community at all. Most of them are really great people, and I'm thankful for that. And it's got to be up there with the most longevity-filled sport there is. There are 50-year-old men that are still taking the world stage in this sport. So that is also partly the reason that I'm in this. It's a very viable option for a sport. Not many injuries can occur, and the ones that can are hardly life-threatening. Speaking of injuries, my third arm wrestling competition ever, youth division still, I was going to the New York State Fair, and it was looking all good for me. I'm a pretty big person for my age, so everyone in there was about 150. I was about 218 at the time, so I was counting my lucky stars when somebody who wasn't quite what I expected got up on the youth table. That day I was not the strongest youth there. I came to find that out, but his name's Liam Carnegie, and I'm sorry for all the other youth at that competition, but things happened. I couldn't really remember much. I couldn't tell you much. All I can remember is that we get in, slip. We get in again, I beat him. So I get a little cocky, and I get up there thinking that I'm going to throw in a side pressure, top roll move. Didn't work. In fact, it was the opposite of working. And my arm snapped, went to the hospital. And I want you to know, Liam, that there's absolutely no hard feelings. We both agree, basically, that is the terms and conditions of going into a combat sport. There's nothing wrong with breaking your opponent. I think there's nothing wrong with that. Because, honestly, you agree, like I said, you're basically agreeing to that as soon as you put your arm up on the table. So, if you ever break somebody, I want you to know that you kind of put that on the line. It's there. It must be. There's a danger to it. And, I love it. I love it in every way. And I'm still doing it, obviously. So, you can call me crazy, but I know. I just love it. It's something to really sink your teeth into. There's so many weird and cool things that can come out of it, and it's so underdeveloped that at this point people could put their own spins on it, like the King's Move and whatever else crazy concoctions that these top arm wrestlers or even small fry can create. And speaking of that, I just make it my mission to be the best. That's the mission for everyone that's going to throw themselves in it, right? I hope. I want to be the best. I'm going to be the best. And to do that, it takes tremendous, tremendous effort. And to help me along with that, since everyone gets a little lazy, I have you guys. And I will use you guys as somewhat of a meter, somewhat of a kind of blocking of the lazy mindset. Because working for yourself is one thing. You can do it, but it's extremely hard. I don't really recommend it. You just keep falling into pitfall after pitfall. But when there's somebody else watching you, when there's someone else expecting you, I don't know, I feel a lot more responsibility to it. Like I'm already at the top and there are people cheering me on. And I'm too young to know what life really is, because I've never been in real life. But I'd like to come out swinging. Because I see so many people get not the opposite of a head start in life. They get slapped down. And I'm in it to win it. And I hope every single one of you that watches this can get the same mentality. I hope you gain something that would truly benefit you in your life. It doesn't have to benefit you in the conventional way. It can benefit you in any way that you see fit. I just want you to grow, and I want me to grow. And if we're going to do this, we might as well do it together.